Welcome back to part 3 of this month's 2020 Vision series. Thanks for all your comments and insights about last week's post. If you haven't watched it yet, just click the link above to check it out. Today, we're continuing that theme of 2020 Vision by focusing on how to set clear expectations with anyone you work with or lead. It's a tool my hero, Brené Brown, came up with called Painting Done. And I want to share a story of how I had our client Lauren use it recently. So Lauren leads a team of 25 people, and she emailed me a few weeks ago saying, "I don't understand. I've made the same request 1,000 times. Stop sending me documents to review that contain typos and missing links. I don't want to have to correct those. I've asked them to proofread more carefully, but I'm still reviewing work that contains all sorts of errors. What do I do?" Now, it was clear from Lauren's perspective that she articulated an expectation. Don't send along documents that haven't been proofread yet, right? Seems simple. But here's what was happening behind the scenes that might sound familiar to you. Lauren's team members were sending her those unproofread documents to review because they had specific questions. From their perspective, they weren't sending her their final or proofread versions yet because they weren't at that stage of the process. Now, this is a classic case of expectation confusion. The manager, in this case Lauren, feels like her requests are being dismissed, or worse, ignored, while her team feels like they can't do anything right and are afraid to ask for help because when they do, they get criticized for not doing something they haven't gotten to yet. Does this sound familiar? Because if so, this is where Brené Brown's Painting Done tool is extremely helpful. In fact, I just used it with my team this week. The idea is this: rather than articulating a singular expectation, as a leader, it's your responsibility to paint what done looks like and to have a conversation with your team about what the steps to getting to your definition of done look like. In other words, you want to make sure that your team is crystal clear on what you mean by done. And when necessary, you know how to signal to each other which stage of the process you're up to, so there's no confusion along the way. In Lauren's case, when I had her paint done for her team, they realized that it'd be helpful to come up with a signaling system, like code words they could use in their email subject lines to indicate which stage of the process they were up to, and whether or not they could be held accountable for meeting the expectations of done yet. Now, if they're sending a document to Lauren to review because they have a particular question but haven't proofread yet, they put the letters PQ in their subject line, which stands for process question. This signals to Lauren that she should ignore typos and careless mistakes and simply address their question, trusting that they'll eventually get rid of those errors and typos in the proofreading stage. If they're sending a document to Lauren and they have proofread, then they include the letters PR in the subject line, which means they have indeed proofread and can be held accountable. Now, when Lauren's team takes on a new project, they all get together and have an intentional conversation about painting done. They decide together what done looks like, what the stages of the process leading each of them to done looks like, and how to communicate with each other productively along the way. Having watched Lauren and her team use this Painting Done exercise, and from using it with my own team members, I can tell you it's a total game changer. Not only does it help everyone get clear and on board with what the finish line looks like, but it avoids so many miscommunications and unspoken resentments along the way. So what do you think? How might you use this Painting Done technique to set clearer expectations within your team? Leave a comment below and please let me know. And if you haven't already, make sure to scroll down and subscribe to my e-tribe, because once you do, you'll get instant access to a free training, exclusive tips, and early bird info coming up about our group coaching program that I'm not sharing anywhere else. In the meantime, keep showing up as that you most want to be. Just one intention, one interaction at a time. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next month on the Self-Spoken blog.